we're just instigating a little bit. Bishop e2. All right, we're shuffling a little bit. Oh, this is my new idea. Do you want to trade bishop for knight? Do you like that or not? Shuffle.
Only $2.87. 3 colors to choose. Free shipping for new users. Shop on Temu now.
I'm busy.
I'll be quick.
What?
Your friend.
What friend?
The one who buys your secrets. How fast can you reach it?
What happened to you?
I fell.
On what? A jealous husband?
I have something to sell.
Don't we all?
How soon could it be here?
Planning to reach out at the end of the month?
This would have to be now. You trade bishop for knight. Do you like that or not? Chapo's like, nah, actually I'm good, I don't want to trade. Okay. Bishop comes back around. This knight has been kicked out of b3. And the constant concern for white is this trade good or bad for me? Like, I don't know. Magnus is posing this practical problem to his opponent throughout this game as he now shuffles the pieces around one more time. Now the knight is in the middle and the king is here, and c4 is under fire. In fact, it's under fire to the point, the only way white can defend against it is to give a check and kick the king out of the middle. And now Rajabov could play knight to d4. But king d6 and white slowly could run out of moves. And what I mean by that is if the knight goes back to b3, now Magnus uses that a-pawn. Like, Levy, I don't understand what's going on. Well, folks, now we have the exact same position we had, but c4 cannot be protected. That's the problem. c4 can't be protected because I utilize my flank pawn advancement. The subtlety and the triangulation. You see, black's king can move on 3 squares. So in moving on 3 squares, white is being lulled into a state where he's going to overextend the position. So he's going to maybe play the knight to the middle and get caught, and now he's overextended, he can't go back to where he was, and that's it, Magnus is going to convert this game. So Rajabov himself plays a4, and oftentimes that's all Magnus needs. And now Magnus completely changes. Look, he's triangulating, right? Now he goes to c5. You say, Levy, nothing's changed. Oh, yes, it has. Oh, yes, it has. There is now a fresh weakness on a4, which Magnus made you question the defense of your position. And here, Timur sacrifices the pawn, the c-pawn completely, and Magnus plays king c7. You see, if Magnus took this, a5 falls, and then maybe a4 falls. Magnus is like, no, we're going to do this on my terms. You're going to take on b6. I'm not letting you get away. This weakness is staying here. You're never getting my a-pawn. And watch, he takes, he plays king a6. Moving into the line of sight, by the way, of this bishop. Knight a3, king b7, and if you analyze this with an engine, it's constantly going to yell, draw, draw, draw. These guys have no idea what they're doing, they're wasting their time. But Magnus, slowly but surely transfers his pieces in. At the right moment, even letting this pawn stand. Just completely stand, playing knight d3, hits the king, hits the pawn. Of course, if bishop takes d3, this pawn is going to get through, so the white's knight is completely paralyzed. King goes back to d4, and a few moves later, bishop b5. Paralysis, and that a-pawn is surviving. You still can't take it. Timur decides to sacrifice and try to get the knight over to win some pawns. That is a way to try to defend the position, but he's not fast enough. One pawn falls, but the other pawns are now held together by that bishop, which made it all the way around. And on move 89, by gluing it all together, Timur Rajabov resigned. Magnus Carlsen went on to win, and he won this candidates. Then he went on to win the World Championship. Let's go to example 2. Second example. His opponent, none other than Grandmaster Hikaru Nakamura, and you will see their usernames. So this is spaced out. This is not spaced out because that's not his legal name, but that's Magnus's online name. This is the Speed Chess Championship in 2018, the finals. And if you look at this position, you might quickly say, Levy, Hikaru's got a bishop. Magnus does not. What the hell is going on? This is from their first segment, 5-minute, 2-second bonus. So at this point around in the game, the players both are under a minute, or right about a minute on the clock, but every time they make a move, they gain 2 seconds, so there's no dirty flagging. Now, Magnus has been down a piece for the majority of this game. He does have 2 pawns forward. He has 6 pawns versus 4, but this is falling, and then the pawn will sacrifice itself, and black will promote. I mean, there is no way you're going to hold this position. So Magnus, despite being material down, trades rooks, trades knights, offers a trade of knights to get queen and bishop versus queen. Hikaru instead is like, let's trade queens, homie. Let's trade queens. Because I got a knight and a bishop. Magnus is like, I got him right where I want him. Because here's the thing. I have 2 pawns. Magnus, in a split second, has evaluated that this endgame is actually going to be really difficult for black to win. really... Oh, sorry, I hit my microphone. I don't know if that actually changes anything, but... So, Hikaru does take on g5, because that's the way to go. Knight c6. Now, knight c6 takes away the bishop retreat, and delays the knight from getting back. Like, you can go knight d4 here, but then I'm going to play b4, and taking this is a little bit suspicious. Just a little bit. I mean, you got to really be able to calculate the fact that bringing the bishop stops every pawn, and then my king running to the middle doesn't give me any practical problems. I mean, a4, a5, a6, very quickly comes in, you know, king f7, a5, king e6, a6, like, it's close. It is a close race, and tough to calculate all this in time trouble. So, knight c6, king f7, here come the pawns. Here come the pawns. Bishop f2. Hikaru's doing everything correctly. Everything. He's brought the bishop around, the pawn is going to sacrifice, the king is coming to the defense, so how on earth, b5, how on earth can Magnus possibly save his position? I mean, all he's doing is pushing pawns. Well, king goes back to c8, king b3, knight d4 check. And he doesn't take. You see, he could take, or he could not take, but he can't take. The truth is, like, if he does this, his pawns are never going to get through. Now, he's Magnus, so obviously he plays king to c4, king to b7, and Hikaru has a really difficult situation here, because if he takes on c6, like he's threatening to take on c6, then it's all good, right? That's why he did it. But if he took on c6 in this position, this is a totally different situation, because now you're too slow, and I have 3 pawns versus a lone king, and a king now is coming. So, you know, Magnus is just posing more and more practical problems. King to b7, knight b8 check, king a6, b7. Okay? King a7, a6. Now black has one move. One move in this position. Hikaru plays g5 because he doesn't see that white has any threat. White does have a threat. Knight to f7. See, Levy, I don't understand. Just bishop comes back, and I'm going to push my pawn. My bishop is going to cover. Well, this is the idea. To take, and then to give this check. The king has to go back to b8. He can't take the pawn because the pawn promotes. Now we come here. And knight to d7 is unstoppable, and there is no piece that can protect the king on b8. And Hikaru resigns. Now, you might sit there and say, Levy, this is what is this? This is terrible. I mean, he got so lucky. It's a blitz game. It doesn't matter. No, he's playing I mean, Hikaru and Magnus Carlsen are the 2 best speed chess players in the world. A guy has an extra bishop, and Magnus manages to pose 25 moves of practical calculation problems in a situation no other person has any business trying, let alone winning. Now, of course, Hikaru had the blunder. In all these endgames that you're going to watch today, a person had to mess up. But that's what the point of this video is about. This guy has a wizard-like touch to certain positions to just make them incredibly difficult. I understand you can put these positions in the stockfish and go, oh, he messed up, he's so bad. I mean, what a stupid video. You try. You know how many pieces you would hang in this endgame? You would find a way to hang a rook in this position. There are no rooks on the board. That's how skilled you are. Let's go to example number 3. Okay, this game I actually covered live. This is 2019. We're in Grenke in the chess festival. Fantastic tournament, by the way. And Magnus's opponent is Francisco Vallejo Pons, who's #1 player from Spain. Maybe not currently. I think maybe David Anton Guijarro is #1, but I mean, Vallejo's an incredible player. And this game is not, like, super exciting. So we're going to fast forward to around the middle game, like move 25, when it's completely equal. It's been completely equal for a long time. Magnus has the black pieces. White looks like they're more active with his bishop and his knight, but black has some activity as well. This pawn on d4, you know, the bishop, the opposite colored bishops. Notice the opposite colored bishops, not the same situation as in the Rajabov game. And so Magnus just watch. I'm not even going to say anything, just watch. Brings his king. Bishop here, sets up like an infiltration of the rook, which would pry apart the defense of the king and the knight. So the knight goes there, and then the king comes forward. Magnus understands that while one of his rooks is extremely passive, and he can't even kick the knight out because the knight would jump into c6, his defensive skills are there. The position's balanced. He might have a mildly unpleasant situation right here on the queen side, as kind of one enemy piece controls the movement of 4, because this bishop doesn't really have any movement. This knight constantly threatening to jump in and hit everybody. It looks like white is actually a little bit happier here. He plays g3, so Magnus can't really come forward with any pieces. So what's the man going to do? He's the GOAT. What's he going to do? Pawn takes c3. First he takes, tries to make some trades, takes, and he swaps off one of the... But now he finds the only moment he has had to activate this rook. The only moment, because now he can't move this pawn, right? So what does white do? He plays f4 check. That's a really nice move, actually, because black has a very unpleasant decision to make. Does he take on passant, or does he just back up? If you play king h6, it's a very, very bad decision, because this...
Bounty mega roll. 4 rolls in 1.
Because this bishop reactivates, you now have to play very passively, lose b7, everything falls apart. So you take on passant, takes on passant. But now it looks like Vallejo has activated his bishop, and this pawn is really tough to defend. So Magnus has no intention of defending it. Full-on activity. Fight fire with fire. Not actually. I don't know, maybe. Any firefighters in the comment section? Now it's a tough decision. Do you take on h4, or do you take with the knight, or do you take with the bishop? The engine gives bishop. That's a very strange move to make, to just wander off and allow your own king to just completely come under fire with f2 over here. You want to play something like a rook e2, you might end up in some trouble. So he decides to go back to c4 to prevent the rook from coming to d2 and potentially doing serious damage along the second rank with the bishop. In this moment, Magnus decides to trade and slides right out of there to b8. So he's completely giving up the queen side. He's completely giving it up. Go ahead and take it. You gotta take it, or what are you gonna do about g3? Vallejo decides to defend. The second he has a moment, he immediately makes white question everything that he's doing. Now we have a trade, goes back. Material's still equal, by the way. I mean, all this momentum, it's still equal material, but now rook d2 check, king h3, rook d3, and we have a little bit of a transformation. Both queenside pawns fall, leaving the players with just rooks, knight, bishop, pawn each. This becomes heavy. Now we have a problem. Because if you take, you lose your rook. It's 4. If you don't take, what's going to happen to your, what's going to happen? Well, Vallejo finds...
How? What?
Frame on. Your mama know you smoking that? Your mama know you smoking that, bro?
Yeah, what about?
Your mama know you smoking that?
My mama dead, bro.